All right, welcome back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball. I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we're bringing you baseball history.
That's right, we're a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing them.
Thank you very much, and I am receiving today. I am the what kind of pitch you got for me?
I got a pitch that is kind of fast, so it's sort of a fastball, but it's also a little bit of a curveball. And you're the veteran pitcher, I guess you could say. So what kind of pitch is that, Sean?
That's a cutter.
That's a cutter? Okay, that's actually very perfect. That you're saying it is a cutter, in on several different levels. So that's actually very, very, very perfect description for this story.
You're just going to talk about Mariano Rivera.
I am not.
But I figured it was not about Mariano Rivera. I think most people know about him.
Yeah.
We try to do the more obscure baseball stories, and we post about it sometimes on the old internet, the World Wide Web. Edsy, where can people find us out there?
People can find us on the internet or the World Wide Web at Doing Baseball or at Doing.Baseball. If you're looking for us or want to have a conversation, you can find us at one of those two handles, and they should lead you in the right direction no matter where you happen to be looking for us. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and go ahead and grab yourself a Two Loons as well. Two Loons is our favorite beer here on Sean and Ed's Do Baseball. They're even more my favorite beer because they released a West Coast IPA just in the last couple weeks. If you're listening to this on the day that it's come out, they got a Westie, and they make a great IPA already. So they make a great lager, but now they have a West Coast IPA, which is my personal favorite, and you can find them at twoloonsbrewing.com. You can find them at your local LCBO or your local bar, and as always,
please be of legal drinking age, and of course, Sean, enjoy responsibly, okay?
I absolutely am a responsible person.
You're
laughing.
I am chuckling, because, with a history as long as ours, I have seen you be irresponsible with your IPA consumption, but as you've grown, you've become a much more responsible person.
I would
Sean.
hope.
So cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Let's get going. Let's give her the first pitch here.
Okay, the first pitch is a cutter, as we mentioned, and before we get going here, as I always do, I want to tip my hat to Sabre and give some encouragement to our listeners to donate and become Sabre members to help that cause there, because we can't say enough about how much the Society for American Baseball Research has helped in the production of this podcast. And today will be no different. I want to tip my hat to the meticulous research of Wayne Strumpfer, whose Sabre Bioproject article anchored a lot of the research in this shorter story. Hopefully we can get a bit of banter going here and lengthen it out a bit. But anyway, I'm digressing a lot, so I'm going to get to the story here. And it begins on February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1956. And in Youngstown, Ohio, the story begins, which is a blue-collar town, steel town, better known for producing boxers and football players than future all-stars, with a nasty cutter.
Ooh.
Dave Dravecky was born on this date. And he was the oldest of 5 boys, born to Frank and Donna Dravecky. Frank was a machinist, and Donna was a housewife and kept the household running. And Dave, like most Midwestern kids, spent more time throwing balls of all kinds than worrying about his schoolwork.
Whoa, I am thrilled that you're talking about Dave Dravecky, because I know a little bit of where this is going.
Okay.
The Eric Shao episode, actually the two-part episode on Eric Shao, I believe Dave Dravecky was a part of that.
Yes, I believe he was. I know he was on the Padres at the same
The
time.
Padres.
The
Yes.
Padres at the same time as Eric Shaw.
Well, yeah, I won't give anything away, but I know where this is going, but I don't know how it gets there. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think I mentioned this in the story, but he was one of the ones who he gave some money to Eric Shaw, did he not? We're already going off the rails here, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how much money he gave to him, but they were a very tight knit. I'm forgetting the third guy, but there was three pitchers on the Padres that were very, very tight knit. I'm sure it comes up at some point.
yeah. Okay. Well, to get going here again, Dave was once quoted as saying, "All you have to do is pick up a baseball, and it begs to you, throw me." If you took a year to design an object to hurl, you'd end up with that little spheroid small enough to nestle in your fingers, but big enough to have some heft. Lighter than a rock, but heavier than a hunk of wood. Its even neat stitching, laced into the leather's slippery white surface, gives your fingers a purchase. A baseball was made to throw. It's almost irresistible.
Okay. It's romantic. How is baseball not romantic?
Yeah, that is a very romantic thought about baseball. But back to his life. The winters in Ohio weren't exactly conducive to year-round baseball, so Dave grew up playing whatever sport the weather allowed. Baseball was there, sure, but it wasn't center stage. In high school, he pitched some, he played first base, and occasionally wandered into the outfield. His senior season, as a left-handed starter, ended with a modest 3-2 record, which was hardly the type of stats that had scouts foaming at the mouth. When the 1974 MLB draft came and went, Dave's phone stayed silent. No scholarships, no pro offers, so he enrolled at Youngstown State College and figured baseball would be something that he did until he needed a real job. But the lefty had a stubborn streak, and as it turned out, college was where he began to grow into the pitcher who would one day silence big league hitters. At Youngstown State, Dravecky became the ace of the staff by his junior year, going 7-1 with a microscopic 0.88 ERA.
Whoa.
That run led the team to its first NCAA Division II tournament appearance. His reward was a humiliating 26-1 loss to Wright State, in which the opposing dugout entertained themselves by calculating his ERA after each run scored and yelling it across the field.
Bunch of math nerds.
That's right. They are Division II, so they're not they're not really probably expecting to have careers in baseball. So they're probably up on their studies quite a bit there.
He let in all 26 runs?
I'm not sure of that stat, but I assume not. But
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Either way, he gave up a lot of runs in that.
yeah, and the opposing team is shouting the statistics out at him. Baseball is humbling like that.
Oh my God! And you just know he wanted to fucking kill them all.
I'm sure. But Dave learned something important that day, that he'd been pressing too hard, and from then on he decided to just go out, have fun, and stopped worrying about his draft status. An approach that worked, and by his senior year he was back in form, throwing 2 hitters with double-digit strikeouts in front of Major League scouts.
Damn.
Yeah. And the Pittsburgh Pirates took notice, and in the 21st round of the 1978 draft, they called his name. It wasn't a glamorous draft slot, but Dravecky didn't care. He signed for $500 a month, which to him sounded like winning the lottery. He didn't even know that you were supposed to ask for a signing bonus.
And you said 21st round, right?
That's correct.
There is only 20 rounds in the current Major League draft.
Oh.
As far as I know. That is, I mean, it's kind of upsetting by looking back at history, how many guys would miss out on Major League careers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just, not to get off topic here, but that's just, it's incredibly frustrating that they, shrunk the minor leagues and yeah, just as he would have missed out by one round if he was nowadays.
Right. And to add a little bit to this as well, growing up in Youngstown, he grew up a Pirates fan.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so he's drafted by his childhood team, and the Pirates shipped him off to the minors, where he learned the daily grind of bus rides, sketchy motels, and teammates who thought ramen noodles were a food group. He played a couple seasons in Double-A Buffalo, and in March of 1981, he worked out with the Pirates in spring training and pitched some batting practice. He was told by Pirates manager Chuck Tanner that he liked what he saw in his bullpen sessions, but one day an emotional gut punch came. Murray Cook came to the clubhouse and told Dravecky that he'd been traded to the San Diego Padres.
Ooh.
Upset at first to be traded away from his childhood team, Dravecky eventually sucked it up, and his big break came in 1981. In Amarillo, Texas, he found himself in what he later called his, quote, sweetest year in baseball. Not because the facilities were glamorous, Amarillo was not exactly a paradise, but because he finally learned how to pitch. Under manager Eddie Watt, he mastered the cutter, the pitch that would define his career.
That is prophetic on my end. I'm just gonna say that.
I know, yeah. Are you psychic?
I don't know. I had no idea Dravecky even threw a cutter.
Well, he did, and it was his trademark pitch, apparently. He also deepened his Christian faith with his wife, Jan, who had been holding down the fort as the breadwinner while Dave chased baseball dreams.
Okay.
Amarillo was the place where Dravecky transformed from just another minor leaguer into the Padres' minor league pitcher of the year. He went 15-5 with a 2.67 ERA, and for the first time, the majors didn't feel like a pipe dream. So, in 1982, which was the next season, Dravecky was invited to the Padres' spring training, but once again, he did not make the major league squad and was sent back to the minor leagues, starting the season with Triple-A Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Like the island.
I would assume so. I don't know of any other Hawaiis in the United States, so.
No, I don't. I just, look, I can picture a winter league in Hawaii, but it makes no logistical sense.
I know. I was just about to comment on that. There'd be some long-ass flights. You know? Teams would be traveling there and playing their entire season series in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know?
Just staying for a month and a half.
I'm just speculating. I'm sure that's not true, but
yeah,
they would save money if they did that. That June of '82, he and Jan had their first baby, and 4 days later, on June 15th, Dravecky received his first call-up to the major leagues, replacing Danny Boone, who had been traded. So he got on like a 6-hour flight. I don't know how long it takes to fly from Hawaii to San Diego, but
I'm looking it up currently. I am trying to find. There's a few stops. I need a direct flight. God damn it, Google. It's more than a few hours.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you get back to me. He made his major league debut against the Los Angeles Dodgers. He pitched just one inning and allowed 2 hits, but no runs. His debut wasn't flashy, but it was a start. At first he struggled, His stuff wasn't overwhelming, and he knew it. But a bullpen coach named Clyde McCullough gave him the most valuable advice of his career. Stop overthinking and just feel it. Dave learned to stay on top of the ball, move it around, and let his instincts take over. And he developed a slurve.
Ooh.
Which, if you don't know, I think most people know. It's somewhere between a slider and a curve. But more importantly, he developed a style that was all about control, deception, and efficiency.
Okay. So he's a classic 80s pitcher. He's trying to get soft contact and get the game over with in 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Sure.
So using this style, by 1983, he was thriving. He opened the season as the National League's first 6-game and 10-game winner. He was working so fast on the mound that his games often wrapped in just over 2 hours. You are prophetic.
I am on a roll tonight.
That's right.
And it takes 5.5 hours to fly from San Diego to Hawaii.
5.5 hours.
Yeah, it's basically from New York to LA or New York to San Diego. It's equidistant.
That's crazy talk. So as I said there, he was wrapping his games in just over 2 hours, which was a dream for the current baseball commissioner.
Sure.
That year, he threw over 31 straight innings without issuing a walk and earned a spot in the All-Star game.
All right. So he's gone from Youngstown to small town Texas to to Hawaii to the All-Star team.
That's right. When he stepped into the Comiskey Park clubhouse, surrounded by Hall of Famers, he felt like an imposter. But then he went out and threw 2 shutout innings, striking out legends and proving that he belonged.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, was Ray Kroc still around? I was going to say Ray would be proud, but I don't even know if he's alive at this point.
I'm not sure how long Mr. McDonald's owned the Padres, but
I'll look that up too.
Yeah. He certainly wasn't shouting, he's never seen such poor ball playing in his life, or whatever he said at his first game. But anyway, carrying on.
Is this 84?
This is 83.
Okay, yeah. Ray's still alive, just for a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little.
Did he still own the team? Do we know that?
Oh, I don't. I believe he did right up until the end. They wore the armbands or whatever when he passed, so I would assume he still owned them at that point. I'm trying to recall, but Ray is, Ray's around.
Okay. So the Padres of the mid-'80s, as we know from a few different episodes, were a colorful bunch. Future Hall of Famers, guitar-playing pitchers, and veterans who treated team chemistry like a sacred art form. Goose Gossage, the intimidating closer with the walrus mustache, laid down the rule, quote, "No I or me with the press. This is about us."
Love it.
I like that from Goose.
Mm-hmm.
Dravecky thrived in that atmosphere. He was a swingman, bouncing between the rotation and bullpen, eating innings, and always ready. By 1984, the Padres had shocked the world and won the National League West.
All right.
In the playoffs, they dropped the first 2 games to the Cubs and looked dead in the water, and then miraculously they stormed back with Dravecky providing crucial innings. In the World Series, against the powerhouse Detroit Tigers, the Padres lost in 5 games, but Dravecky shined over 10 2/3. He didn't allow a single run, and it was the start of his reputation as a big game pitcher.
I was going to say, I remember him being the highlight of that World Series, despite the loss for the Padres.
Yeah. He also experienced one of the stranger post-game moments of his career when, after losing the series, the Padres team bus was nearly tipped over by celebrating Tigers fans.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
They were in it, I'm assuming?
I would assume so. Nothing says welcome to Detroit like a near riot.
Sure. Especially back in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, they did that well through the 60s, 70s, 80s. Anyways, look up Detroit history. It's pretty great.
yeah. You can do some side reading after you listen to this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Many dust ups. To be euphemistic, to be seen the least.
Yeah, yeah. By 1987, the Padres were sputtering, and Dravecky was struggling himself. Mid-season, he was dealt to the San Francisco Giants in a trade that initially shocked him, but sometimes trades are blessings in disguise. Giants manager Roger Craig welcomed him warmly, telling him, quote, "You guys are the final pieces. We're going to the promised land."
I'm assuming he was talking to a couple guys there, or just like, Dravecky was like, it's just me. You don't. It's just,
you're drunk, sir. You're seeing double.
All three of you guys are going to do great for us.
Yeah, no, I assume they made a few trades at the deadline, and those are the words.
And we all remember the Giants, of course, winning the World Series that year.
Yeah. Yes, we do. The clubhouse embraced him, and suddenly pitching at windy, miserable Candlestick Park became an advantage. Hitters hated it there, but Dravecky used the elements like a weapon, pounding the inside corner and letting the Gales do the rest. And by the way, the Giants did go to the World Series, not that year, but a couple years later they did make it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was trying to remember it. I'm like, I know it wasn't this year, but they absolutely were close.
I believe it was '89 was
earthquake
when the earthquake happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 1987 playoffs, he pitched a 2-hit shutout against the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLCS, and followed it up with another stellar start. Though the Giants ultimately lost the series, Dravecky had cemented himself as a gamer.
Okay. He's a playoff guy.
Yeah. And then in 1988, everything changed, though. What began as a nagging shoulder pain turned out to be something far more sinister. It was cancer.
What?
It was cancer.
Okay. I kind of knew that, but I'm like, it's like, I have not looked this up. So I'm sure you're about to tell me, but like, how do you, like, arm cancer? Like, how does, I just, it's such a odd, I don't know. I guess it's not odd to get a tumor anywhere, but it just, the irony that a pitcher gets cancer in his throwing arm, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, a lump in his pitching arm did reveal a tumor, and doctors delivered the crushing news, and they said, quote, "Outside of a miracle, you'll never pitch again."
Fuck.
And that's pretty heavy news to lay on a guy who's seems like he's peaking in his career.
Yeah.
But Dravecky wasn't ready to hear that. Surgeons removed half his deltoid muscle and froze part of his arm bone.
Okay.
Leaving him with only 5% use of the muscle.
Oh.
And everybody assumed that his career was over.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume so too.
Yep. Well, you're everyone except Dave.
Damn.
Okay? One of Dave's famous quotes is, quote, "I've come to realize that real growth of character takes place in the valleys of life." And Dave Dravecky was keen to prove his character. He rehabbed furiously, and by the summer of 1989, he was pitching in the minors. Against all odds, the Giants announced that he'd start a game at Candlestick Park on August the 10th.
Fuck.
So he's making...
Okay, so that's the next year, I guess? Or the same year? Sorry.
No, it's the next year. He got the news in 1988, and then he had the surgery, had the tumor removed, and then he rehabbed, I assume, starting from the beginning of the following season.
And you said they like removed part of his deltoid muscle?
Yeah, and he only had 5% use of the muscle after all these treatments.
That is...
And a frozen arm bone.
Fuck. Like, okay, that seems impossible.
Well, that's what I said, against all odds.
No doubt. I'm looking at like a muscle chart right now, and I'm just baffled.
So, like I said, on August 10th, 89, he started a game at Candlestick, and the crowd of 34,000 roared when he took the mound. Dravecky admitted that it felt like something out of a movie, and then, as if Hollywood had indeed written the script, he shut down the Reds, retiring 21 of the first 23 batters he faced. Roger Craig later said, quote, "I didn't really manage that game. I just sat there in awe." The fairy tale, however, had a cruel sequel. 5 days later, in Montreal, while pitching to future Hall of Famer Tim Raines during the 6th inning, Dravecky's arm literally snapped mid-pitch.
Oh. So he has one good start, and then it just, like, I will admit, I've seen the highlight of this, and it's awful, but he had a really good start, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was much more of a, like, he tried, and it just, if anybody has not seen this, I'm sure you're about to describe it a little bit more, but it is hard to watch.
I'm not describing it in much detail, but yes, it was a very abrupt end to what was thought to be a great comeback. The frozen bone from his cancer treatment simply gave way. The crack echoing through the stadium like a firecracker. He collapsed in agony on the mound.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to look. I haven't seen this video that you're talking about. I'm gonna have to look it up myself.
I mean, this game was on TV, and I can recall. It is. He just is it's just awful. Like, he just crumples to the ground, and he is just in agony.
Well, I could imagine if your arm breaks in half from throwing a pitch. I'm sure that's not very comfortable.
Yeah, no, it's real. Like, I will just say, like, yeah, it is like one of the worst things. I'm literally looking it up on YouTube right now, and it says, "We just saw one of the saddest moments you'll ever see on an MLB field." Like, that is the kind of level of awfulness that it really, really is. But yeah, no, I will say, like, yeah, no, it's not great. It's not great. And in fact, this video is not even of Dave Dravecky. This is of something else that happened. So continue.
Moving on. Incredibly, Dave still clung to the hope of pitching again. But in the postseason, after celebrating a Giants win, he was jostled by teammates and broke the arm a second time.
No! Oh!
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah. Soon after, the cancer returned.
Fuck. Okay. He's not catching any break. I think I'm not going to say it because he might not be. But I'm like, is he done?
On November 13th, 1989, Dave Dravecky officially retired from baseball.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't about to give up. Dave Dravecky still felt he had a purpose in life. He once said, quote, "When I broke my arm, I knew there was something a lot bigger than baseball about to happen. I had a sense that God had something for me, something bigger than baseball."
Okay.
Despite his hopeful demeanor, the nightmare wasn't over. In 1990, a staph infection riddled his left arm, and doctors initially wanted to amputate, but then offered a glimmer of hope. But by June 1991, Dravecky made the gut-wrenching decision himself. He told the surgeons to take the arm.
Ugh. A pitcher that loses his arm. Just the irony. Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't think of anything worse. Well, I can, but anyway.
Yeah.
In this context. The biopsy later revealed cancer wrapped around the ulnar nerve. His choice had saved his life.
Okay, that's good at least.
Yeah. Some players leave baseball and disappear, but Dravecky didn't. Instead, he leaned on his faith and sense of humor, and he nicknamed himself the One-Armed Bandit and turned to motivational speaking.
Okay, I thought you were going to be like, and then he started throwing with his other arm.
Started throwing with his foot. Def Leppard style.
There you go.
Some players leave baseball and disappear. Oh, I already said that.
You did.
And turned to motivational speaking. Alongside his wife, Jan, he founded Endurance, a ministry that helps cancer patients face depression and physical challenges. He became a Giants community ambassador and dedicated his life to helping others. Baseball was what I did, he once said, but it's not who I am. So that's kind of the end of his career there, and to sort of summarize, Dravecky's career stats won't blow anyone away. 64 wins, a 3.13 ERA, and one All-Star appearance, but his legacy isn't in the numbers. It's in the courage it took to step back onto the mound after a cancer surgery, the roar of the Candlestick crowd as he defied the odds, and the grace with which he faced the cruel ending of his career. He showed that sometimes the game gives you glory, sometimes it takes it away, and sometimes it gives you something greater, perspective. Today, Dravecky lives in Central California with Jan, enjoys time with his kids and grandkids, and continues to speak around the country. He turned his pain into purpose, his loss into a platform. And yes, he'll even joke about it. After all, not many can call themselves a major league pitcher and a one-armed bandit. If you were writing a Hollywood script about perseverance, faith, and the cruel irony of fate, the producers would probably tell you to tone it down if you turned in Dave Dravecky's story. Quote, too unbelievable, they'd say, too dramatic. And yet, every twist of his career, the miracle comeback, the bone-snapping tragedy, the arm amputation, and the eventual redemption as a motivational speaker, happened on a real baseball field in front of thousands of people. Dave Dravecky wasn't just a pitcher, he was a walking story arc. A left-handed underdog who went from overlooked high schooler to all-star, only to find himself battling cancer in his pitching arm, and then pulling off a comeback so improbable that even Disney might have rolled its eyes. And when his career came to a heartbreaking end, he didn't just pack it in. Instead, he reinvented himself as the one-armed bandit, traveling the country, inspiring others with his story of hope.
No, good for him. I just want to throw it out there. I'm looking at his thing. He won the game that his arm snapped in. Like, his last game, he got the win.
Well, it was the 6th inning, so...
Yeah. Baseball Reference credits him with 5 innings, and he only gave up 2 earned runs, and the Giants won the game 3-2. So, as I mentioned, I knew where that story was going. I didn't know how it was going to get there, but Dravecky is just, as you mentioned, it's a story that it shouldn't. It's too inspiring. It's too inspiring.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially like the miracle of him, finally deciding to like, I'm sure it must have been a difficult decision, but you to make the decision that no, the arm's got to go, and then they're like, yeah, that arm really has to go.
Yeah, good call, Dave.
Good call, Dave.
Yeah,
and he's still kicking it.
He's still kicking it. He's still speaking around the country. Yeah. So that's the story of Dave Dravecky.
I'm a little surprised he's more of a Giants guy than a Padres guy, but at the same point, I'm sure he's welcome in both spots. Sometimes it's just where you end your career, and I'm sure even though his time with the Giants was, really only, well, he really didn't even have a full season with them, right? Like he got traded to them in '87, and then he got sick and then tried to make the comeback. Like, he only had 27 starts with them over 3 years. Yet, the first thing you see on Google is him in a Giants hat.
Which is really surprising because, like, in my mind, I mean, based on the career numbers, I think of him as a Padres guy. But that could also be just from hearing the Eric Schau story. But, kind of the most significant moment of his career / life happened while he was with the Giants. So,
sure,
perhaps that's why, he comes up as a Giant on Google.
Well, yeah, and I mean the Padres years were huge. I mean those like '84 Padres is like massive. It's just wild. There's so many guys on that team that have ridiculous stories. Like let's just put it, he is not the last guy from that team that we are going to cover on this podcast. He is definitely the most inspiring because if you've heard the Eric Schau episode, you will know that Schau was I dare I say uninspiring. Not to shit on somebody that's dead, but it would like Dravecky is a Disney movie. Eric Schau is like an A24 movie.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Well, that was great. Thank you. Thanks for throwing that cutter. It definitely cut. But I'm glad we covered Dravecky. We got to hear his story because I other than the Padres and knowing that his arm was going to break at some point in the episode, I had no idea.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know.
Now we know. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
You can check out more episodes. Find us online. Check us out at Spotify. Leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Podbean, wherever you're listening to this. Give us a rating. Let us know if you have any stories that you want to hear. We are going to be coming at you with some October baseball stories, little playoffs, at least playoff themed. Going forward for the next month. And where can people find us, Edsy?
And people can find us on the World Wide Web, as we're calling it these days, at Doing Baseball or at Doing .baseball. Please, as Sean said, give us a comment. Give us, a story idea if you got one. Just chime in the conversation because we love hearing from you guys. And until next time.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we were doing baseball. And we'll get back to watch our team hopefully win some baseball.
Okay. Bye.